The reputation of Bohemian Grove, which is the resort centre of the Bohemian Club, was brought into conspiratorial and mainstream consciousness back in the early 2000s when Alex Jones, appearing in a programme by the mainstream journalist John Ronson, smuggled a camera into Bohemian Grove during the Cremation of Care ceremony. And what we were told was sacrificial fire, and that's completely true, and I'll explain what that means later on in this video, under what appeared to be a giant owl. This video and its lore eventually made its way into the pantheon of conspiracy theories as proof that the elites were devil worshippers who sacrificed babies and children to fires and a god called Molech. Unfortunately, as these interpretations derive from a Christian mind, they're usually always completely wrong. In this video I will attempt to explain what exactly is going on at Bohemian Grove, and also relate it to the ritual which was outlined in the Stanley Kubrick movie Eyes Wide Shut, starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. A Christian mind is not capable of deciphering esoteric information, ideas and concepts, simply because the Christian mind is already weaponized against anything that doesn't originate from a small section of the Middle East. Therefore, it's automatically declared as devil worship, satanic, and various other superlatives fall under the broad church of anything that is forbidden by the Bible, and in particular the Old Testament. I'll start with the so-called statue of Molech, statue of an owl. Molech is a bull, or usually a demonic type creature outlined by the Babylonian Talmud and the Old Testament. In reality, Molech has nothing to do with owls. This is a myth that grew into conspiracy theory, spread about again by Christian and Theosophist conspiracy theory so-called experts, based on the fact that there is a little small owl on the dollar bill. Molech has nothing to do with an owl. This is completely made up. So who is the owl? The owl is the representation of the goddess Athena. Athena, the Greek goddess, is associated with the symbol of the owl. This is a powerful esoteric symbol that represents the ability to see in the darkness, to see the light in the darkness, to observe what is hidden. So very much an occultic idea. This is further compounded by the slogan used by the Bohemian Club, both at the clubhouse and also at their resort at Bohemian Grove. Weaving spiders, come not here. Now why would you have that phrase? Again, it brings us back to the goddess Athena. Athena turned the weaver, Arachain, into a spider for her doubting the power of the gods. Now this is a very powerful fable, because what it really talks about is the dangers of attacking polytheism in order to deny the sanctity of both the cosmic world, the natural world, and the consciousness of human beings, the mysteries of the psychology. So therefore, Bohemian Grove and the Bohemian Club represent a neoclassical pagan revival club. When I say that, I don't mean that they're a neoclassical pagan revival religion as such, that they worship the god Athena, that they worship the Greek gods. What they celebrate is the true nature of what the term Bohemian meant, an outsider. Of course, there is an element of colossal irony in this, in that the membership of the Bohemian Club tends to be the establishment and the elite, as these clubs tend to draw in such people. The Cremation of Care is a symbolic ritual that appears in many religions and spiritual traditions. The idea of casting your cares off, removing your psychological, spiritual and emotional burdens. Purification by fire. And this is what happens at these places. This is what the Cremation of Care is about. And this is why, again, if you saw my 4th of July video, Fire in darkness is very central to pagan ideas, Beltane and the balefire. It burns the concept and the experience deeply into the consciousness. It's a very magical experience. And the 40-foot owl statue, which is actually made of concrete, was devised by the co-founder of the Bohemian Club, a James F. Bowman, in 1881. This is at a height of a large esoteric and neoclassical revival among artists and other people at that era. And this is why they have outdoor performances that are usually comedy or drama plays with huge set designs and musicals in the Grove play. They're invoking Greek mystery plays. Again, it's neoclassical revival. Now this brings us to the movie Eyes Wide Shut. So much has been made of this very impressive scene where everyone is wearing Venetian masks, and then a sex ritual takes place later on, and Tom Cruise fraudulently enters the club, and the famous scene where he was asked the passwords and so on. A very powerful scene, and almost as a ritualistic energy contained in and of itself. Even so, most people from the conspiracy world who analyze this movie, and in particular that scene, always leave out the important line that when Tom Cruise's character is asked over to the house of one of the people, a member of that ritual, he just said, "What have I told you? The whole thing was just a farce." And that's what it is, a farce, an absurdity, the theatre of the absurd. And you, the willing fools, particularly the Christian fools, you are played like cards by these hijinks. And that's what they are, hijinks and low jinks. And the purpose of this is to create a mystique, to make you believe that they worship the devil, to make you believe that they are Satanists, to make you believe they have great magical powers, to create this ominous feeling around them, when really all it is a bunch of prostitutes brought over to satisfy rich people who have too much time and money on their hands and have really lost the meaning of life. When you have so much power and wealth, you do lose a certain je ne sais quoi from your existence. The magic and the stars have gone out because you can afford and do anything. What then you do is you create an escapist world of absurdities, a risque world, a fantastical world. And that's what Bohemian Grove and the Cremation of Care and also the ritual scene in Eyes Wide Shut represent. This escapism from reality that super rich people indulge in order to bring a spiritual depth to their lives. And now people will say, this is not spiritual. Absolutely it is. It's very spiritual because it transcends them from the mundane into the supernatural, even if it's only for a short while and takes money to do it. Satanism is the great folly of the conspiracy movement. They believe that the elites are satanic in the biblical sense. They're not. If you look at their architecture, the names of their schools, the Greek names they use for their fraternities at these Ivy League colleges, the name of their lodges, what comes up again and again? Apollo, Athena, Zeus, Alpha, Beta. Greek and Roman neoclassical paganism. It comes up over and over again. And you think it's satanic because you're coming from or are being indoctrinated from a Christian viewpoint. And they love it. They love the fact that you are in the dark about all this and think they're devil worshippers. Again, it creates that mystique. It creates that sense of energy and charge that gives them the edge over everyone else. They were absolutely delighted when John Ronson, deliberately I'm sure, took Alex Jones to the Bohemian Grove Club during the Cremation of Care. Because he would run back saying, they're all a bunch of Satanists, they're all a bunch of devil worshippers, they're burning people behind that statue. This is what they want you to believe because you are the willing fool. And this is also a very central thing in paganism. The creation of the fool. And the fool within the esoteric language, it represents the naivety of consciousness upon which the magician can ply their trades. And that's all it is. The owl is not Molech, the owl is Athena. And weaving spiders do not come here means Anyone who is in violation of charisma or the gift of the gods wouldn't understand what is happening inside Bohemian Grove.